Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing, and you can see the consumer price index, a la the CPI, was released today, and it was the first month since early 2021 that inflation expectations were not met, and it was actually below. Last month, inflation, I believe, was 9.1%, and it clocked in 2 months ago for June. In July, it clocked in at 8.5%, right? And this is from the news release from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. Department of Labor that issues these. You can see consumer price index for July 2022. The consumer price index for all urban consumers was unchanged in July after 1.3% in June. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics over the last 12 months. The items index increased 8.5% before seasonal adjusted. The gasoline index fell 7.7% in July and offset the increasing food and shelter index that's continuing to go up. But we had a 7.75% fall in fuel for July, so that offset the other one, right? But the food and housing shelter continues to rise, and that's a problem. We're going to go more into this tonight, along with the daily Bitcoin price. I'll talk about this more on my nightly 7 p.m. Central on Twitter. We had 15 people listening on the first one, where we're going to do our live stream every night. You guys can talk to me, ask me questions. I'll start off the show with a 10 or 15 minute, just what I want to talk about and what I think is important for the day, and then we'll end it with some questions from the audience, right? Probably be about a half hour long. The first one was 45 minutes. The index for all items less food and energy means all items besides food and energy rose 0.3% in July, a smaller increase than in April, May, or June. And that's it's a good thing. It only went up 0.3%, right? But I think what we're going to get into tonight is I think the gasoline and the oil, how oil has fallen the last 3 months. I think oil, as the dollar starts to decline, or when it eventually does start to decline, whether that's next week, next month, or next year sometime, oil is going to respond and go the other way. And I think oil eventually is going to get near $200 a barrel, right? It's consolidating now. It's down from $125 high-ish. Maybe it hit 130 3 months ago, and now it's down below 90, right? So I think eventually that's going to find a bottom and start going the other way as the dollar starts to go down, right? So, and you can see because inflation was less than they thought, the dollar went down 1.5% off that news, because the market took that as they can stop tightening, right? And if they stop tightening, the dollar starts to tank again. Internationally, what the dollar index tracks, dollar index is tracking its relative strength against other major currencies around the world, the yen, the British pound, right? So the Deutschmark. All items indexed increased 8.5%, which is down from 9.1 last month, but it's still a very high number. For 12 months ending July, a smaller figure than the 9.1% increase for the period ending in June. The items less food and energy index rose 5.9% over the last 12 months. The energy index increased 32.9% from the prior 12 months ending in July, a smaller increase than the 41.6% increase from that period ending in June. So that got a little bit better there. The food, and primarily probably because of the oil price going down and the energy cost. The food index increased 10.9% over last year, the largest 12-month increase since the period ending May 1979. And that's a very, very bad food increase, right? That's very bad. That's very hard hitting because you need food to live. You cannot do without, right? You don't eat, you don't live. You can see so far this year, going from last July, the 1 month percent change in CPI for all urban consumers, seasonally adjusted, 0.5, 0.3, 0.4. Remember when it went from 0.5, 0.3 to 0.4, they said last year in 2021, the inflation was topping out. Then it went up to 0.9, 0.7, 0.6, 0.6. And then on that second 0.6, they started saying it was done. Then it went to 0.8, 1.2. Then a big crash down to 0.3 in April. Then it jumped way up to 1.1 and 1.3 in June, right? So that's very high. You can see the 12-month percent change in CPI for all urban consumers, not seasonally adjusted. You can see all items is much higher. It touched 9.1. But if you take food and energy out, which are the two main things you need to live, so it doesn't even make sense why they take food and energy out. You can see it's at about 6, when if you have all items with food and energy, you're at 8.5, right? And then a breakdown in table A. We'll break this down a little bit and look at individual where they were at tonight on our live stream. I'll put them in the comments below. So while you're listening live, you can go into the comment section below. And as I'm talking about this, you can look at it for yourself, right? So you can get a better understanding what's going on. And we'll get more into that tonight. And if we look at the quick Bitcoin price, you can see the Bitcoin price actually did get rejected temporarily, right? It's getting harshly rejected. Right up next to this high that it hit the other day, you can see that it came back down real quick, and this time it came back down real quick, right? I should have shorted this up here when I seen it, and it flushed really quick. Now what you would look for, can it hold on the 200-day and start to trade back up again, or is it going to come back down? And then you have a decision point on your on your major support, whether you hold it and kick up, or you get back underneath it and start using it as resistance. When it came back underneath it here, you can see it broke right back through. So this time it could come up, come back down, and then use it as resistance. If you see this come down, hold it for a second, slip below it, and have a 1 or 2% fall below it, and then it comes right back up and gets harshly rejected, it's telling you it's a bearish confirmation, and it's going to get rejected and trade on down, because I am still watching this 21,469 to see if it does come back down there, because every time we get up here, we're getting chopped down. So that's what we're going to watch out for right now. And then we'll end out with a little XRP love, because everybody likes XRP. You can see it again, got rejected up here by this 37 to 38 cent major upper resistance. And now what you got to watch out for XRP in the 15-minute, can you get supported on a 200-day and a 50 and 100-day that are conglomerated around right there? Can you hold it, come back up, right? Hold it, come back up, and get on top of this white, and then trade up, which you've been unable to do. You failed it there. You failed it back there, right? And if you can't get on top of this, and say you trade down a little bit, right? Say you trade down a little bit right here, get supported on the moving averages, but come back up and get rejected, that might be telling you you're coming back down into this area we've been talking about for several days down here too, into this regional supply zone down here between 30 and 32 cents. So this is your critical area still, just as it's been for several days. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace and love. Peace and love.